Hello and welcome to the channel. So today we're at a flower show and I'm actually getting ready for a class I'm going to be teaching on photographing flower arrangements. And a lot of times we'll visit flower shows and that we really would like to try to capture some of the images of some of the just really nice arrangements that were put together by people that do this professionally. But there's certainly a lot of challenges. While the arrangements themselves are beautiful, lighting may be really challenging people. These places can be rather busy, so that can also be a bit of a problem. And then just distracting elements coming in from overlapping arrangements, things in the background. From where I'm sitting right now, there's a big lit up menu right behind this arrangement, and so that can also become a bit of a distraction as well. And these are all things that we just need to work through when we're at these. The other thing is these places can be a little on the dark side because, especially here in Minnesota in the winter, they're indoors. And so ideally you'd like to be able to use a tripod, but the reality is you're not going to be allowed to do that. So I like to keep my kit pretty minimal for this. So just a general purpose walk around lens. In this case I'm using a 12 to 100 millimeter lens on a micro four thirds camera. That's going to give me a lot of range, and it's going to allow me to use a pretty open aperture f4. Would I have liked to have 2.8 through? Yeah, absolutely, but that's not going to be the case as I'm walking around this environment. So f4, I can probably do some pretty decent subject isolation as well and get some pretty creative shots. So let's see what we can get. We'll start with the flower arrangement that's right in front of where I'm sitting. And this really is about trying to figure out the right angle. So if I come at the angle I'd like to, I get too much of the background. But if I tilt up like this, now I can kind of minimize that background, although not overly happy with what I'm actually seeing. So I think there's probably maybe a little bit I can do to try to minimize the background, maybe do a little bit of cropping in, but the challenge is just getting back far enough. If I could get back to where I could zoom in to like 50, 60 millimeters, that would really help. But because of the limitations of the space and where I'm at, that's just not possible. So the next idea is to then just start looking at some of the details. And I like this one area here towards this lower right-hand corner as I'm facing it. And there's a nice circular flow that's happening. And I think grabbing this detail shot is going to be much more interesting than trying to have the whole arrangement. The next thing I can do is I can actually now start to look for maybe even something tighter. And as I kind of move around the arrangement, I find this little area here, and I really like how this almost looks like something you would see almost underwater, some coral or something like that. And so I really like that. I like how it's reaching off. And I think what I want to do is try to go with a rather shallow depth of field for this, and really just have just the very front part of it in focus. And then finally, as I move further around, go in really tight. And now the thing about using these all-in-one zoom lenses is you can get away without having to necessarily have macro equipment or anything like that. You can still get in pretty tight. They do a great job of focusing really close, and that's true across all manufacturers with the new lenses that are coming out now. And so I think I like this composition here. I think maybe I'll play just a little bit with depth of field, and these are the shots that I came up with. There were a number of display areas. I really liked this one that had the watering cans, and it was really kind of centered around a theme of their herb garden, which you'll see in a moment here as we walk in. But you can see there's a lot of challenges too. There's a lot of bright lights, a lot of just distractions in the background, a lot of general busyness. And I needed to figure out some angles and some things that would work. But for sure, I wanted to go and grab one of these water cans. Well, not literally grab it, but wanted to photograph one of these watering cans with the tulips because I thought that looked really nice. And it was just really a matter of finding the right angle where I can minimize what was going on in the background. And I ended up with this image, which I really rather like. It brings out the color in the can, the background's not too bad, and your attention is right there. The other thing that I was really kind of interested in was this bench and what they had set up on it. Now, I don't typically like photographing things that have words, but in this case, I think it works out okay. The challenge with words is that anybody looking at it is going to automatically be drawn to that and want to start reading it. And as a result, you need to be kind of careful about having those in it. They don't become too big of a distraction. But I think in this case, it actually helped to sort of add to the story. Now that I was through with this area, I just wanted to kind of walk around. There are a lot of other interesting areas within this particular flower show. And these are some of the other images that I came away with on the day. So hope you enjoy. Oh, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. If you want to be notified about future videos, go ahead, hit that subscribe button and that little bell, and then you'll be notified whenever I post something new. Thanks. Bye.